Hola, ¿qué tal? How's everyone out there on the interwebs? I'm Federico. Since this is the first episode of Spanish Out Loud, I'm going to take a few seconds to tell you what it's about. I was born in Argentina, but I've lived most of my life in the US. About 12 years ago, my mom died, and she was the only person that I spoke to on a regular basis in Spanish. And when she died, I realized that not only was she gone from my life, but I wasn't practicing my Spanish anymore. And my Spanish was really bad, and I was embarrassed by it. But I wanted to do something about it. So one of the things I started doing, which had a huge and immediate effect, was to read out loud in Spanish. So reading out loud does three important things. Number one, you engage the muscles in your mouth and throat to form words, which is something you don't get when you read yourself. It's a very different experience to read out loud and have to make the sounds with your mouth, your throat, your tongue. It's a very different feeling, and it's not something that you can just listen for or just hear in your head as you're reading to yourself. You really have to do it. You have to actually form the words. Number two, it removes the pressure of having to come up with those words because you're just reading. A lot of times if you're in a conversation with someone to practice your Spanish, you feel all this pressure, like, well, not only do I have to understand what the person's saying, but I have to come up with some kind of response, because that's the whole purpose of practicing, of having a conversation. When you read out loud, you don't have to worry about that. You're just reading. And so you focus on forming the words and getting your mouth and your whole nervous system used to speaking this other language, which maybe has fallen by the wayside. So let's get to it. Okay, here we go. Let's open up Safari, and I already have in mind what I want to read out loud today. It's a video. Sorry, not a video. It is an article on CNET in Español about a show called Los Espookys, which is a new show on HBO. Okay, here we are, Los Espookys. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to read through, and if there's a word or something that I don't know, I'm going to talk about it, or if there's something interesting, I'll talk about it. Otherwise, I'll keep on going. Los Espookys es una nueva comedia que quiere darte sustos en español. Reseña sin spoilers. HBO estrena el 14 de junio una nueva serie hablada en español sobre un grupo de amigos que se dedican a asustar a la gente como negocio. So, first thing I'm going to point out here is reseña is how you say review in Spanish. Let's look it up just to make sure. It's the review summary report. You can also do it that way, or it can also mean that is what I mean. But review is the main meaning that I'm looking for. And you notice this happens a lot in Spanish, but a lot of English words are just used as they would be in English. So I don't think there's a single word in Spanish, or at least I'm not aware of it, that means spoilers. So a lot of Spanish speakers just use spoilers because they know what it means. Okay, let's keep on going. Producción estadounidense hablada en español, ambientada en México y filmada en Chile. Los Espookys, serie que HBO estrena el 14 de junio, es quizás uno de los experimentos televisivos más curiosos de los últimos años. Es la serie que Ed Wood, el director de Plan 9 from Outer Space, habría hecho si HBO le hubiera contratado para hacer televisión. I just wanted to point out, I like the word. I wouldn't say I love it, but I do like the word estadounidense. It's like saying a United States American, United States American. Estados Unidos, it's almost the full word Estados Unidos. And anyway, I just like it. I think it's a fun word. CNET en español tuvo acceso a los 6 episodios de la primera temporada. Es un show que sigue al pie de la letra los lugares comunes de las películas de bajo presupuesto. Las actuaciones son pésimas, la trama está alada por los cabellos, los diálogos son acartonados, los chistes no suscitan carcajadas. So a few things in here. You'll notice a lot of times when in articles, when it's written, when articles written in Spanish use English words, they'll put them in italic to indicate this is not a Spanish word. So, such as show here. Another thing is, I like words. I like different words, and I like the phrase películas de bajo presupuesto. I just think it's a really nice way of saying low budget. It sounds classier than low budget to me in Spanish. And so here we have alada por los cabellos, which I don't know exactly what that means. Alar, I think, means to pull, look up, to pull on, to haul in. Okay, alar. I don't think that's a word that we use very much in Argentina, where I'm from originally. But it's definitely Spanish. So alar por los cabellos must mean, the trama is plot. So the plot is crazy, or literally means it's pulled by the hairs, but I think just means it's crazy. Los diálogos son acartonados. So diálogos is dialogue, or the dialogue. It's a plural noun. And I don't know exactly what acartonado means, but I think it must mean stiff or cardboard-like, because cartón is cardboard. That's the word for cardboard in Spanish. So I assume, let's see, what does the computer say? Acartonar, to make, wizened, no. To become stilted. Okay, that makes sense. So the dialogue is stilted. Stiff, stilted, very close. Okay. En efecto, al principio es de asombro. Oh, perdón. El efecto al principio es de asombro, pero en la medida en que suceden los capítulos y se conoce un poco más la trayectoria del talento involucrado, es claro que Los Espookys es una comedia postmoderna que usa los mismos códigos de aquello que parodia. ¿Comprenderá el público la propuesta y aceptará las reglas del juego del show? Por ejemplo, Los Espookys es una serie hablada en español con subtítulos, con pocas escenas habladas en inglés, lo que sin duda es una novedad para HBO en Estados Unidos. I totally agree with this. So they're saying that Los Espookys is a new kind of show, and they're wondering if for an American audience, and they're wondering if people are going to get it. If they're going to accept a show that's mostly in Spanish with subtitles, with a few different scenes in English thrown in. I think it's fantastic. I think it's probably better if you speak both Spanish and English, but I think if you only speak Spanish or if you only speak English, you'll still enjoy it. It's my kind of humor. I really like it a lot. Let's read one more paragraph. Los Espookys es, en cierta manera, un tributo a ciertas series mexicanas de dudosa calidad, como La Rosa de Guadalupe, 2008, de Televisiva, que siempre siempre resuelve cualquier conflicto dramático de la manera más descabellada posible, lo que ha dado pie a parodias muy divertidas en YouTube como El girasol de Fátima del canal Wherever Tomorrow. Oh, okay. So here we have another word, descabellada. And by the way, I know I have an Argentine accent. I say my double L's and my Y's as ja, whereas most other people say it as ya. It's a softer sound, but I'm from Argentina, and that's how I say it. So hope it's not too annoying. But descabellada means, I think it means like crazy or crazy, ridiculous. Okay. So it's similar term to what we read above about alada por los cabellos. So it seems like a lot of things that come out of your head, or like when people are pulling your hair, it's because it's crazy or ridiculous. And I just noticed that, so this channel on YouTube must be a Spanish channel that spells wherever tomorrow phonetically in Spanish. So it sounds like whatever tomorrow. Anyway, I'll have to check that out. So that's been my first Spanish Out Loud. I hope that it was useful and good for you to watch it. Please let me know in the comments what you think. If you think I should do something different, if I should do a version where I read out loud in English and comment in Spanish, I'll totally do that. I know this is useful for me, but I want it to be useful for you as well. And I love doing this. So I plan on doing one of these at least once a week. So let me know in the comments. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Give it a thumbs down if you didn't like it. But let me know why you didn't like it, please. And if you want to follow me on social media, my handle, my nickname, my username is at Fedhat, Fedhat, on Twitter and Instagram. All right, thanks. See you later.